Hey there everyone, so I'm going to be covering the comments made by the fellow artist of Akira Toriyama, who unfortunately passed away March 1st of this year, 2024. And I just want to go over what all of his colleagues and friends said about his passing. So let's go ahead and get right into it. And before I discuss these comments, I just want to say when I was 6 years old, I had an older cousin, a cousin who was about 15, 16 years older than me. And we never had anything in common due to the extreme age gap. And I remember going over to his house for a couple hours, before parents pick you up or whatever. And he was watching Dragon Ball Z. And I had never watched anime before. And I remember exactly what episode it was. It was Goku versus Jason Berter. And he had the VHS tapes from Japan. So he was as big of an anime fan back then as I was now. And it's Akira Toriyama who introduced me to anime. I've always told my friends that Yu Yu Hakusho is what got me into anime, but Akira Toriyama with Dragon Ball Z is the actual first series that I ever laid my eyes on as a kid. And I'm going to read these comments from Tite Kubo and Kishimoto from Naruto and many, many authors, but I just want to give the most sincere and deepest shout out to Akira Toriyama for just being an amazing author, an amazing mangaka, and he's the one that started everything. So, all right, let's go ahead and get right into this. So on the manga site, that I read, they said, they put this message out. Dear friends and partners, we are deeply saddened to inform you that manga creator Akira Toriyama passed away on March 1st due to acute subdural hematoma. He was the age of 68 when he passed. It's our deep regret that he still had several works in the middle of creation with great enthusiasm. Also, he would have many more things to achieve. However, he has left many manga titles and works of art to this world. Thanks to the support of so many people around the world, he has been able to continue his creative activities for over 45 years. We hope that Akira Toriyama's unique world of creation continues to be loved by everyone for a long time to come, which I know for a fact will come true. Kids in the future are going to discover Dragon Ball Z, and we inform you of this sad news with gratefulness for your kindness during his lifetime. Funeral service was held with his family and very few relatives. Following his wishes for tranquility, we respectfully inform you that we would not accept flowers, condolence gifts, visiting, offerings, and others. Also, we ask you to refrain from conducting interviews with his family. Future plans for commemorate gathering is not decided. He will let you know when it's confirmed. We deeply thank you for understanding and support as always. The first author I'm going to read is Mr. Masashi Kishimoto, the author of Naruto, as most of you know and love. Mr. Masashi Kishimoto's message is as follows. Honestly, I don't know what to write or how to write about something so sudden. However, for now, I would like to express my thoughts and feelings to Toriyama-Sensei, something I wish he would have asked me someday. I grew up with Dr. Slump in the lower grades of elementary school and Dragon Ball in the upper grades, and it was natural for me to have his manga next to me as part of my life. Even if I had a bad experience, watching Dragon Ball every week made me forget about it. It was a relief for me, a country boy who had nothing. Because Dragon Ball was really fun. It was when I was a university student, suddenly the Dragon Ball that had been part of my life for so many years ended. I felt an incredible sense of loss and didn't know what to look forward to. But at the same time, it was also an opportunity for me to truly understand the greatness of the teacher who created Dragon Ball. I also want to create works like yours. I want to be like my teacher. As I followed in my teacher's footsteps and aspired to become a manga artist, that feeling of loss began to disappear because making comics was so fun. I was able to find new fun by following my teacher. My teacher has always been my guide. I admired it. I apologize for the inconvenience, but I would like to express my gratitude to the teacher. For me, he was the god of salvation and the god of manga. When we met for the first time, I was so nervous that I couldn't say a word. However, after meeting him many times at the Takuza Prize screening committee, we became able to talk. As Dragon Ball children, I and Mr. Oda, author of One Piece, went back to being children again. And when we talked excitedly about how much Dragon Ball was fun, as if we were competing with each other, I forgot how he looked a little embarrassed and smiled at me. I can't. I have just received the news of the death of my teacher. I feel an even greater sense of loss than when Dragon Ball ended. I still don't know how to deal with this hole in my heart. Now I can't even read my favorite Dragon Ball. I don't feel like I've been able to properly write this sentence that I want to convey to my teacher. Everyone around the world was still looking forward to seeing your work. If Dragon Ball's one wish really comes true, I'm sorry. Maybe that's selfish, but it's sad, Sensei. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you, Akira Toriyama-Sensei, for all your enjoyable works over the past 45 years. And thank you very much for your hard work. We are sure that the remaining family members are still deeply hurt. Please take care of yourself. I pray that Mr. Akira Toriyama rest in peace. Masashi Kishimoto. Oh, man. I knew I was going to cry reading this. I completely agree. The hole's too big. Next one. Mr. Ichiro Oda, One Piece author. It's too early. The hole is too big. The thought of never seeing you again fills me with sadness. I've admired you so much since I was a child, and I even remember the day when you called me by name for the first time. I also miss the day when I had a great time with Mr. Kishimoto on the way home from the day when he used the word friend for us. I also remember the last conversation we had. He is one of the people who took the baton, I'm flustered right now, from the era when reading manga would make you stupid, and creating an era where both adults and children read and enjoy manga. He showed us the dream that manga can do things like this and that we can go to the world. He gave it to me. It was like watching a hero push forward. The excitement he experienced when he serialized Dragon Ball is probably rooted in the childhoods of creators who were active in all industries, not just manga artists. That existence is a great tree for manga artists of my generation who have stood on the same stage. The closer I got to Toriyama's works, the more I realized that they had a greater presence. So scary. But I'm just happy to see this easygoing man himself again. Because we love Toriyama-Sensei on a blood level. I would like to express my respect and gratitude to the world of creativity left behind by Professor Toriyama and pray for his repose and peace. I hope that heaven will be a pleasant world just as you envisioned it. Beautiful message by Oda Sensei. This next one I believe is from Tite Kubo, author of Bleach. Or Kubo Tite, excuse me. He says, it would be strange to write a blog entry without talking about this matter, so I'll take a brief moment to talk seriously. Personally, I'm not experiencing any loneliness or pain. It's not that I feel nothing at all, but they're not as strong as I expected them to be. This is the passing of someone whose works I've been reading since I was a child. A senior mangaka published in the same magazine as I was, and someone I'm heavily influenced by. So it all makes for a different sensation compared to how I usually deal with death. And it's all the same reason why I'm not experiencing those emotions. I have never told this to anyone, but for a long time, I have believed that creating something is a way of extending your own sensibilities in life. This is because I also believe that as long as that very creation exists, the author will never fade away. Being able to truly interiorize these ideas and feelings is proof of the magnitude these works which live within me have. That's all. For my next post, I will carry on with my usual spirits. Kubo type. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama, April 1955, March 2024. These are some photos of him. The Weeknd posted this. It's a musician. Michael B. Jordan posted this picture. People, actors, musicians, athletes, fans, everyone around the world knows what Dragon Ball Z is. Dragon Ball Z, GT, Super. Oh, man. This one right here, I'm not sure which author wrote this one. We're going to go ahead and read this. I'm not sure what author this is, but a day has passed since Akira Toriyama-Sensei's passing. I've spent most of it crying, and I've managed to sort out my feelings. The first time I encountered Sensei's work was a Dr. Slump anime. Penguin Village was so cute and fun that I was engrossed in watching the anime every week. Then Dragon Ball came out, and I watched that every week as well, though at the time I think I wasn't aware that it had a manga, and that the same author created both of them. At the time, a friend of mine introduced me to Shonen Jump, and it was there that I was shocked to find Dragon Ball I watched on TV had a manga. It was a double critical hit. Double in the sense that when I started reading the manga, there was so much about the world that I didn't know. Goku went to heaven, which is to say he died? Of course, at the time, the Saiyan arc hadn't aired on TV, so this is relatively new development. It came completely out of the blue, and heaven looked like so much fun and color. So after that, I've read Jump every week for Dragon Ball. At this point, however, I wasn't aware of the system where a series that runs in a magazine is later collected into volumes, so there was a bit I was missing, specifically why Goku had died. Though regardless, I kept on reading. Despite this, Dragon Ball was a ton of fun. Probably the most interesting manga I've ever read. I'm sure I enjoy the anime a ton, but Toriyama-Sensei's artwork is vivid and mesmerizing. At that point, I had only a mild interest in being a mangaka. But upon reading his manga, my dream became fully manifested and I changed from an interest to my life's purpose. I want to go where Toriyama-Sensei is, I thought. There were 2 times in my life that I nearly gave up on living. But what kept me tethered to this life, to reality, is the dream Toriyama-Sensei gave me. Sorry. And now I'm saying goodbye to him without ever having the opportunity to see him in person. So I was never able to thank him. It's incredibly painful, heart-rendingly so. Toriyama-Sensei, my name is Tsubasa Fukuchi. We've never met, and you probably have no idea who I am considering I'm published in another magazine. But I am a manga artist. I became a manga artist because of you. It's because of the dream you gave me that I've come to the same battlefield as you. I'm still unable to accept the fact that you're no longer with us, but with time I will. I'll strive to bring my everything to this place you brought me. Toriyama-Sensei, thank you. Thank you very much. Well, now we know who wrote this. It's Tsubasa Fukuchi. I'll go ahead and look him up later, but we have a lot of other authors that commented about this. This message is from Hideki Sorachi. Dragon Ball, Dragon Quest, Chrono Trigger, the worlds in which I threw away my homework and spent every spare moment I had to sleep were all born from the pen of Toriyama-san. I also grew up on Chrono Trigger, one of the greatest games ever made. I was born from the erasure shavings that piled up after I admired his pen and tried to imitate him, but I never succeeded. Thank you, Toriyama-sensei, for teaching me so much about the world of manga. Thanks to you, I've become a man who makes his living from Dragon Ball, even more than yourself and Toyotaro-sensei. Toyotaro is someone who's been working with Toriyama with Dragon Ball Super, I believe. And he also might be the one carrying on Dragon Ball Super from here on out. I'm pretty sure that's right. I don't think I can fill this gaping hole in my chest, even if I eat some dried beans. But I will continue to follow your dashing back, like Goku, from great heights covered with eraser dust, carrying one of the Genki Dama that he scattered all over the world in my heart. Thank you so much, Toriyama-sensei. I will always love you. Hideki Sorachi. I want to give proper respects to these authors. I'm pretty sure I know Sorachi. I can't pinpoint exactly what series he did. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. I just want to get Gintama, author of Gintama. I knew that name was familiar. Next message, Tatsu Yukinobu. I do have to look this one up, and I do apologize for breaking things up like this. Tatsu-san is the author of Chainsaw Man. All right. I love the works of Akira Toriyama. The first manga I bought with my allowance was Dragon Ball. It was also the series that inspired me to draw manga. Thank you very much for your wonderful works. I pray from the bottom of my heart that you may rest in peace. When I was 8 or 9 years old, I remember my friends and I would mow yards around the neighborhood. And this is back 8 years old. I'm old, so about 28 years ago. So this is back in 1996. Yeah, 1996. Somewhere around there. We would mow grass all around the neighborhood, $20 a yard. And then we would go to the store and buy all of the Dragon Ball Z VHS tapes so we could watch what wasn't out on TV yet. Because if you remember, they kept, every time you got to the Jason Birder fight after Raccoon, Toonami and every other channel would reset it back to the first episode with Raditz. So we would always go through that loop. And we discovered that we could actually buy VHS tapes at the store. So as kids, we had to make money. So we mowed grass and mowed yards and went to the store and spent all of our money on those VHS tapes. So I can just relate to that. Next author, Hiroyuki Asada says, I just want to confirm really quick. Takami Bachi, basketball series. I apologize, everyone. I should have looked this up before I started. Gotcha. All right. Akira Toriyama-Sensei, thank you so much for all of your time. I really enjoyed many moments, and I'm really sorry about those other times. You were always outrageously kind. Thank you very much, but I can't accept it. You always had just one beer at dinners. Please allow me to offer you one drink. Oh, man. That's touching. Tatsuya Endo says, if it weren't for Akira Toriyama, I probably would never have set my sights on becoming a mangaka. Even now, when I think about the reader's perspective, I always think back to my childhood days when I excitedly looked forward to Dragon Ball every week. Thank you for all the wonderful work. I sincerely pray for the repose of Toriyama-sensei's soul. This message is from Kentaro Yabuki. This is a long message. To put my mind at ease, let me spell out my personal thoughts. When I was a boy, I changed schools a lot, and I tend to be alone. It all changed when I could make new friends anywhere by talking about Dragon Ball. I learned the joy of drawing manga by copying many of Mr. Toriyama's illustrations. I got hooked on Dracula and Chrono Trigger. The first time my picture appeared in Jump, it was because of Dragon Ball Readers Project Postcard. I think that gave me the confidence and led to my action of submitting to manga awards a few years later. I never had the chance to meet him in person, but if I had, I might have been too afraid to approach him. That's how much I admired him. I would like to thank you for the illustrations you drew for To Love Rue's 10th anniversary and your kind comments. I will treasure them for the rest of my life. He created many happy memories for me and for everyone's life. I really appreciate Toriyama-san's kindness. I pray that one day I'll be able to see you with a ring on your head. May you have a soulful rest in peace. Reiichiro Inagaki says, it is too shocking to think of anything else, but for now I just pray for his soul to rest. Yusuke Murata says, strangely, I don't feel like he passed away at all. Perhaps that is how much he was like a star in the sky for me even before he died. Ryuhei Tamoda says, I was stunned to learn of the passing of Akira Toriyama. Like many people involved in manga, he was definitely a North Star for me. I still can't get my feelings straight. I pray from the bottom of my heart that he may rest in peace. Takahiko Inoue says, it is really hard to accept. Thank you, Toriyama-sensei. Masanori Morita says, I had been displaying it naked for a long time until I framed it for the first time when I built a new workspace 6 years ago, so it has been completely tanned by the sun. I received it at a party when I was awarded an honorable mention in the Tezuka Award in my second year of high school. The words that accompanied it were the most encouraging of all. Thank you very much. I became a serial writer. Kyosuke Usuta. He left behind a masterpiece as a gag manga artist with Dr. Slump, and then went on to create a masterpiece in manga history as an action story mangaka. I don't think such a genius will appear for another 100 years. I had a lot of fun with his works, and they had a lot of influence on me. I pray for his soul to rest in peace. I started buying Jump. This is by Kazumata Oguri. I started buying Jump every week from the issue since Dragon Ball serialization and was hooked on it. When I met him at New Year's parties, He spoke kindly to me and told me, "My daughter is a fan of Tenten-kun, so please sign my book next time," which made me feel in heaven. He always felt like a far-reaching goal as the son. I pray from the bottom of my heart for the repose of the soul of Akira Toriyama. This message is from Takahashi Shimada from Yudete Mago. I heard the news of Akira Toriyama's passing during the day. He was 5 years older than us, but Yuda Tamago was 1 year older than him in terms of manga career. When I saw Dr. Slump for the first time, I was intimidated by the American comic style drawings and sophisticated gags, as we were both gag mangaka. I was also jealous of the first year of its anime series. We were really bickering and did not get along. In the 4th year of serialization, Kinnikuman became an anime, and I became more and more aware of our rivalry and stopped talking to him. However, in the early days, we were good friends, and we played games and exchanged color illustrations at banquets where mangaka gathered. Toriyama-san was too young, just 68 years old. It's really sad to hear this. I would like to express my deepest condolences. This one is by Weekly Shonen Jump Editorial Department, V-Jump Editorial Department, Jump Square Editorial Department, Psychio Jump Editorial, Shonen Jump Plus Editorial. Akira Toriyama, who published many works in Jump magazines, has passed away. We at Shueisha and the editorial department are deeply saddened by the sudden news of his passing. The manga that he drew, such as Dr. Slump, Dragon Ball, Sandland, and many others, have been read and loved all over the world, transcending national borders. His fascinating characters and his overwhelming sense of design have greatly influenced many manga artists and creators. We would like to express our gratitude to him for his great achievements and pray for his soul to rest in peace. This is by Dragon Quest game designer Yuji Horii. And just so everyone knows, Toriyama-Sensei designed a lot of the characters in Dragon Quest. I know he created the iconic slime. And I find it amazing that something as iconic as the slime in Dragon Quest isn't even his biggest, most well-known accomplishment. Everyone knows him from Goku and going Super Saiyan, but he made so many pieces of work that were just incredible. But anyways, let's read what this Dragon Quest designer has to say. "I'm still in a state of disbelief at the sudden news of Toriyama-san's passing. I have known Toriyama-san since I was a writer for Shonen Jump, and at the recommendation of my editor, Torishima-san, I decided to ask him to draw game art when we launched Dragon Quest. In the more than 37 years since then, he has designed characters, monsters, and drawn so many fascinating artworks that I can't even begin to count them. The history of Dragon Quest has been with Toriyama-san's character designs. Him and the late Sugiyama-san were longtime friends of mine who worked on Dragon Quest. I can't believe he's gone. I don't know what to say anymore. I am so sorry." Emmanuel Macron shared this picture to Akira Toriyama and his millions of followers. Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Kid Buu. Looks like Toriyama autographed it for him and did a little drawing of Goku. It's amazing. 2021, I think. One Punch Man manga artist Yusuke Murata reacts to Toriyama's passing. "There were many things that I've received from Toriyama-sensei, the ones which only he could give. I pray that he may rest in peace. Strangely, I don't feel like he's passed away at all. Perhaps because for me, he was almost like a star in the heavens even before he died." And this is a drawing that he gave him. Murata continues, "I have the feeling that I did not want to become a manga artist, but rather I wanted to become like Toriyama-sensei. And that is why I took this path. I wanted to draw like him. When I met him shortly after the serialization began, I was impressed by his personality as he smiled and told me, a pay-as-you-go newcomer, about the background of Dragon Quest character design. I felt that Goku and Aleo, sorry, that's a little girl in pink that, anyways, I'm going to get sidetracked, were indeed born from him. It was so sudden that I was stunned for the whole day today. I'm still unable to accept the huge hole that has suddenly opened up, whether it's sadness or emptiness." A message from Aoshi author Yugo Kobayashi about their experience with Toriyama in the wake of his passing. "Going to school was fun because Dragon Ball was there. You, Toriyama-sensei, are my hero, my Goku. Toriyama-Sensei, truly, I thank you for everything. Naoki Urasawa, Monster Asadora, comments on Toriyama's passing. I read Jump back when Dr. Slump was a new serial, and thought to myself, this man will take manga to a different level, but I never imagined how extraordinary he truly would become. It's a pity we never met to have a long chat. My sincerest hope is you are resting in peace. And I believe this is the last one. Toyotaro V Jump. I drew manga because I wanted to be praised by Toriyama-Sensei. It was everything to me. And that wraps up these messages that I wanted to read to everybody. I know some of you, if you're on social media, you've definitely seen some of these on Instagram and other social media platforms, but I just wanted to go ahead and read all of these, and for you and for me, because I read a couple of these earlier at work today, and I decided to read the rest of them for the first time with all of you during this video. And the one thing I can take away is Kishimoto from Naruto and Oda from One Piece. All of these authors love Toriyama a lot, but you can really tell that these two guys really took it hard. The hardest, I think, of all these mangakas. But that's going to wrap it up, everybody. And I appreciate you watching this video. And I'm not going to apologize for tearing up a few times because I love this man. I love Dragon Ball. And he's the one that got me into this whole industry. And thank you so much, Akira Toriyama. I'll never forget you.